Need a boost? Sometimes all it takes is tapping into your inner cool. Icebreaker's gum helps you unleash the confidence within. Each chew releases a rush of icy flavor powered by cooling flavor crystals, sending a wave of refreshment to reinvigorate all your senses. Icebreaker's convenient pack fits everywhere, from car cup holders to backpack pockets, so you can find your cool wherever you go. Grab Icebreaker's gum online or at a store near you.
You know what's really terrifying? That unfinished college degree lurking in the background, just sitting there, waiting for you. That's where Southern New Hampshire University comes in. With flexible online degree programs, there's no commuting, no rigid schedule, and no more excuses. Plus, they have some of the lowest online tuition rates in the U.S. Visit snhu.edu/morbid to learn more before your degree becomes just another story about what could have been.
Every good detective needs a partner to support them on important cases. Think of a State Farm agent like your sidekick, there to help you along the way in your search for coverage. State Farm can help you choose the coverage you need, whether it's for your home, car, boat, or even RV. With so many options, it's nice knowing you have help finding what fits for you so you can get back to solving all of life's bigger cases. Go to statefarm.com or use the award-winning app to connect with a local agent and get a quote. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Hey, weirdos, I'm Ash.
And I'm Alaina.
And this is Morbid.
We're back.
We're back with part 2.
Part 2 of the crazy disappearance of Dorothy Arnold.
And we are going to get into some theories today.
It's going to get wild today.
Ooh.
This case is bizarre.
It is real bizarre.
How
bizarre.
It's how bizarre. Like, it's a crazy, and it doesn't really have an ending, which I apologize for.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's currently unsolved, even though the police still claim that this case is solved.
The police say it's solved.
That's all they'll say. They won't tell you what happened, but they just say it's solved.
Da fuck?
Exactly.
What?
You're going to say da fuck a lot during this one, I tell you.
Da fuck?
It's going to happen a lot.
Well, before we do get into your lovely part 2 today, I did just want to talk about some current true crime news that is going on right now. Over this past weekend, I'm sure you did too, I got tagged in this story a bunch, and it is gut-wrenching.
Yeah, and especially because I hadn't heard much about it. And it happened, you know...
in the beginning of March.
Yeah. Which is, sad.
This 30-year-old mother of 3 babies, her name is Yanira Cedillos. She was celebrating her 30th birthday, I believe it was March 3rd. And she was at a casino with some of her friends. And I don't think the night ended how she had hoped it would. I think they got in an argument. Yeah. And she ended up needing a ride back home. So she called a friend. But then when the friend got to the area where she said she was going to be, Yanira wasn't there. So then Yanira called the friend, or the friend called her, and the friend heard this like yelling voice in the background.
And it was a male voice.
Male voice. And then the phone call got disconnected. Yanira did call back and say that she was okay and everything was fine. But after that night, she went missing. Now,
on her 30th birthday.
On her 30th birthday, and again, a mother of 3.
Yeah.
Now, luckily, there's somebody in custody who we definitely think did this and killed Yanira, unfortunately. His name is Juan Gastelum, was it?
I think it is.
Yeah, Juan Gastelum. He's 27 years old, and he is an ex-boyfriend.
And she lived with him, apparently, at one point.
She did live with him at one point. She wasn't currently living with him when this happened, but they did go back to her apartment, and they do believe that she was killed at one point or another.
And he's being charged with rape and murder.
Yeah, rape and murder. And they found different evidence at a couple locations. He like cleaned his car at a gas station. He threw stuff out at a gas station.
And they said that he was actually unknowingly and unwillingly giving a lot of evidence just by talking.
Which is great.
So the police were keeping him talking for a while, and they actually didn't release this for a while because they were trying to keep him talking, because he is, unwillingly giving information, which is a good thing.
Right.
But now they actually have him because of that. So that's a good thing.
But what they don't have is, unfortunately, Yanira's body. We don't know where her body is, and her family is begging people to help. I'm going to read this. This is an Instagram that they've set up just to like provide updates and just kind of keep people aware of what's going on. It's Justice for Yanira, and Yanira is spelled Yanira. So if you want to follow that Instagram, you will get a ton of information. And I'm just going to read one post. It says, "We are asking everyone in Washington and Oregon to please take initiative to conduct your own searches in your towns if you wish to help. All Moses Lake, Walla Walla, Mesa, Tri-Cities, Weston, Stanfield, Echo, and Hermiston, Oregon areas. If you live near or at these places, please go ahead and search for us. Look into anywhere where there's bodies of waters, wooded areas, embankments, cliffs, etc. If you see anything suspicious, we ask that you call Moses Lake Police Department, and the phone number is 509-764-3887, or your local police department. We also ask that you be respectful. We also ask that you be respectful to the family, and if you do see anything, please refrain from taking any sort of photos or videos. We are not trying to create more pain. Please search with caution and safety. We thank you for doing this for us and hope to find Yanira ASAP."
Honestly, because I think what the police are doing was they were waiting for some like data to come through from, I think like phone records and other like digital footprint kind of tracing things.
Yep.
And that's when they were going to be asking the public to come help in this like narrowed down search area.
Right.
But there's really no reason not to, start looking now.
Seriously.
Why not? It's like eventually it will be narrowed down. They seem pretty confident that they're going to be able to at least slightly narrow down the search area.
Right.
But there's no harm in looking now.
There's
and like they
not.
said, immediately call authorities if
Yeah,
you find something.
Definitely. And there's also a petition going around to speed up the extradition process. I guess Juan is trying to delay this process as much as possible, and he's supposed to be extradited to Washington, but he was arrested in Oregon for driving with a suspended license. So that's how they ended up detaining him. So if you want to sign that petition, you can just go ahead on over to the Instagram that I mentioned, and there's a link tree with a ton of different links for
Perfect.
GoFundMes and all of the above.
All the official stuff.
Yes.
Let's hope that Yanira's family gets some kind of closure out of this, but I can't imagine what they're going through and those poor babies.
I know. I want to send them all like the biggest hugs.
Yeah, it really hurts my heart. But yeah, we'll keep watching that. And if we see anything, any updates or anything, we'll try to let you guys know as soon as possible.
Yeah,
but
we'll keep you posted.
It seems like they're waiting on a few things to go through right now to get any updates right now.
So hopefully those go through as quick as humanly possible.
Keep her family in your thoughts, please. But coming right out of that, we're going to go into our part 2 of the disappearance of Dorothy Arnold. This got so wild for me to research.
I love that.
At one point, I was sitting on the couch and it was like late night. John was watching, I don't remember. Oh, John just got into Mare of Easttown.
Oh, okay.
And it's it was like too depressing for me at first. Like there's so much depression in researching what we research that sometimes TV shows I can't.
Just like life.
I've heard it's great and I do want to watch it. I'm just not in the mind frame right now to watch it. So I was like, you watch it. I'll sit here and research while you watch it.
That's always good when somebody's watching a show that you're not necessarily interested in, because then you can
vibe out to researching about like a crazy disappearance from the 1900s.
Precisely.
And it was like late night. He's watching that and all of a sudden I just started like clapping. And I realized that I was like celebrating out loud, and he was like, "What? Are you okay?" And I was like,
"He's like, what's going on over there?"
The ship manifest, and he was like, "The ship manifest?" Like he was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
He's like, "Are you playing a game over there?"
And I told him the whole thing, and he was like, "Wow, okay," because I'll get to it in part 2. You'll hear where this ship manifest comes up.
Okay.
But I spent like a good hour and a half searching through ship manifest records on Ancestry.com to find this one piece of like, I don't know if it's really like the most important information, but it felt very important to me at the time, and I was glad I found it.
There's no small parts.
There isn't. Sometimes you just gotta get that.
Yeah.
But this is, when I come to it, you're gonna see that I did find that a lot of sources are not giving you correct information about this case.
Oh, shit.
And it's little details, but it's stuff that's like,
Right.
that's a weird thing to not have the right information about.
It's also so irritating when, like, you've definitely found, like, a very reputable source with correct information, and then you find a couple other, like, pretty reputable sources, and they have misinformation.
Yeah, and it's easy to happen because it's like, you can see when a bunch of sources have one piece of information, it's very easy to just consider that
fact.
That's it. And most of the time you're pretty safe doing that, but once you can get into like these like official documents and
like
stuff,
archives.
That's where you find the stuff that you're like, there it is.
Whoop, there it is.
This is why I love researching old cases and like old, just any like historical thing like this. Because it just, the rabbit holes you can go down and like finding those little bits of like old document are just like, it's so satisfying to me.
I love it.
You know, this is what I get excited about, guys. So when we left off in part one, we were talking about how George Griscom Jr. he had come to New York from Italy. He had put out a bunch of ads kind of trying to like lure her out of hiding. You know, nothing was happening. The family ended up getting 2 different ransom notes from like 2 different people who claimed to be the same like violent organization in 2 different parts of the country saying they had her.
Oh, weird.
But they clearly did not.
Yeah, no.
And, you know, people were writing saying that they saw her, that they talked to her. They were getting letters that said, I'm safe, signed Dorothy and all
so
that.
shitty.
People have truly always been shitheads.
Yeah.
But also, the police commissioner in February of 1911 had said that now seems the only reasonable way of looking at the case, meaning he was really just saying she's gone.
Yeah.
And he said the girl now has been missing for 75 days, and in all that time, not a single clue has been found that was worth the name. I disagree. We have no evidence that a crime has been committed, and the case is now one of a missing person and nothing more. And that's what he was ending on.
Okay.
But soon, not only were people saying they saw her or saying someone they knew saw her or was living with her or was dating with her, you know, what have you.
Right.
Now people were actually claiming to be her.
What?
They wanted that money. So they just started pretending they were actually the missing woman and trying to pass off. Which is like, whoa, that's a real con you're pulling there.
Yeah.
They actually ended up dragging the bodies of water around Central Park for her body in the springtime, even though when she went missing, the reservoir next to Central Park was actually frozen solid.
Oh.
So it really, her dad, Francis Arnold, was really convinced that she had been abducted, murdered, and like thrown in that reservoir.
Okay.
But it actually really couldn't have been so because on that day, it was frozen solid.
Right.
She wouldn't. They
Unless somebody like cut a hole and like slipped her in there.
Yeah,
but,
and it's like you would have seen
extensive.
that. Yeah, and it would have been a lot. But when it melted, they wanted to please her family who insisted that they look in the water.
Yeah.
Nothing was found, not her body, nothing that belonged to her either.
Wow. Getting books chosen for you delivered to your door each month is a thing now. It actually just happened to us. Alaina got a book from Page One Books.
Yeah, I did. And it's called The Murder of the Century by Paul Collins. It's one that I've been meaning to pick up myself, actually.
Oh,
so
really?
When it came in that like pretty little box, I was like, ooh. And it's about a crime from the 1800s.
Wow, it's like they know you or something.
It's like they know me. And
Spoiler
it came with
alert,
a little,
they do.
Yeah, and it came with a little bookmark and stuff. I was so excited.
Yeah, I also got one sent to me. It's called True Crime Story: What Happens to All the Girls Who Go Missing. And it's apparently like an international bestseller, so I'm stoked to read it.
Oh, no big deal.
I know, right? And the case is very interesting. I'm not going to say too much because I'm going to dive into it for an episode, which is the coolest thing about Page One Books, because they're going to send us all these books that we specifically asked for true crime books. Mm-hmm. And now we're going to be like, oh, wow, we have a book for every single case.
It's just fun.
It is, and it was super easy. We just filled out a form and told Page One Books what genres we like, what authors we like, who we don't like, what we don't like, and then they hand-selected books for us based on our preference. Clearly, they got Alaina, like, hit the nail on the head, And with the way that my book is supposed to be written, I feel like they also hit the nail on the head for me. Also, if you give them a link to your Goodreads or like any other reading app, they can do an even deeper dive into which books will thrill you the most based on your ratings. That also allows them to avoid sending books that you might already have. But don't worry, if you do get a book that you've read before or even one that you don't like, you just pass it on to a friend and Page One Books will send you a new book free of charge. How nice is that? You don't even have to pay for the shipping. That's how important it is to Page One that you are 100% satisfied with your new read. The Page One book subscription is kind of like Stitch Fix for your library. They have a brick and mortar store in Evanston, Illinois, and that's just outside of Chicago. Local bookstores are a dying breed, and online sales from small stores rather than big box companies is one way to keep them alive.
Yes.
I love that. Through subscriptions, Page One wants to give everyone the kind of personalized service that they used to get from their neighborhood booksellers. Live human, indie booksellers know that you're more than just an algorithm. That's why they read reviews, talk to readers in person, check the bestseller list, and they find the best books to send you. Page One learns what you like and will go the extra mile to get it to you. After your first book, you can always refine or change your future selections by giving Page One feedback. That way, no matter how long your subscription lasts, you're going to love it just as much in the end as you did at the start. Page One doesn't just stock the New York Times bestsellers. They can help you discover up-and-coming authors, breakout titles, and diverse original storytelling. Go to pageonebooks.com and check out the biographies for its literary matchmakers. It's a company owned and operated by women, which we freaking love. Whoop. Women who love reading, which we freaking love more. Page One is staffed by actual book lovers who hunt the gems down and send them to your doorstep. And Page One also has a commitment to eco-friendly packaging.
Couldn't get better.
I know. If you go to pageonebooks.com, you can not only sign up for a subscription, but you can buy individual books and gift bundles. It would honestly be a great Mother's Day gift for any of the moms in your life who love books.
Hello.
There she is. You can buy gift subscriptions and audio and ebooks for yourself or as the perfect gift for a book lover. This is the subscription that fits all sizes. The Mother's Day bundle comes with not only a book handpicked based on your mom's favorite reading, but a mug, a coaster, a tin of literary tea, a personalized card, and a spa eye pillow, and a celebrated book of poetry that debunks the supermom, superwoman myth.
Ooh.
I want this for myself.
I was like, can I have that?
I'm a mom to cats,
Please?
in case anyone was wondering. Page One Books, guys. The personal touch of an indie bookstore with the delight and surprise of an online subscription service curated just for you. First-time subscribers get 15% off with the code MORBID. Visit pageonebooks.com and tell them what you love. Stay weird. But not so weird that you don't love getting books in the mail.
Yeah.
You freak.
Now, in February as well, when Junior got back to New York to search for her and put those ads out, before he had any planned interviews, because he did have some planned interviews that he gave, he was actually literally accosted on board the ship home from Italy to New York.
Uh-huh.
Now, this is where the ship manifest comes in. Now, reporters actually came onto the ship at one of the ports. And they asked him questions out of the blue, like very unexpected. He didn't have time to prepare. And they said, they were asking whether Dorothy had been in Italy with him or not. He adamantly denied that she'd ever been there with him. And his parents were there too on board because he was in Italy with his parents. And they were adamant they had not seen her at all either. Then, according to a Boston Globe article, the reporter on board said there was another name in their party that was not there.
Mm-hmm.
This was a Mrs. E.F. Glenn, and the reporter said she was not present, and they could never reach her.
Huh.
And she wouldn't come out.
Because she's in hiding, and really she's Dorothy.
Isn't that strange? So when I read that, I only read this in one Boston Globe article, and it was the reporter that talked to him and was like, yeah, she wouldn't come out, and it was weird, but she was listed in their party on the manifest.
So she was on the boat somewhere.
Yeah, she was on the manifest in their party, was riding with them.
Right.
So she had to have been there. And so I searched through the fucking records because I was like, I'm going to find this. Because maybe this Boston Globe reporter, because by the way, lots of these people made up shit back then. So there's all kinds of conflicting information in newspapers. I was like, maybe they're wrong. So I got to find this out. Well, I found the fucking manifest for the Berlin, the ship that they were on on that day, which was really cool to find the ship that they were on that day.
That is cool.
I was like, whoa, this is cool. So it lists the Griscoms, who Junior, by the way, was listed as being 30 years old.
Oh, so not 42?
Not 42. And Mr. Griscom, the father, was listed as 56, and Mrs. Griscom was listed as 50.
So that would make sense that he was 30.
So this whole tale that I initially found where they say he was 42 and his parents were elderly, nope. He was only about 5 years older than Dorothy, which makes more sense for why her father only lists his reason for not liking him for his daughter as the fact that he lived a life of leisure.
Right.
That makes so much more sense now. Just a note that so many sources have this wrong. If the ship manifest is to be believed, which it makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes so much more sense. And honestly, again, this is why I fucking love book cases.
I know.
When you find that kind of shit,
like a
it's
treasure
like,
trove.
I just love like the aha moment. But that was wild to me. And also, I don't believe he was even an engineer. I think that's a wrong piece of information that's floating around. Because
Why?
the way the father talks about him is always calling him a man of leisure.
Right.
A man of too much time. A man who doesn't, like, basically a man who doesn't work. And just because his family was extraordinarily wealthy as well.
Oh.
So this
So wouldn't this have been like a really good pairing?
Well, that's the thing. It's like, on paper, this makes sense. And apparently, you know, his family was very wealthy. He was still living with them at 30, but like whatever. And he was just kind of living off of them. And just like I said, he was a gentleman of leisure.
Yeah.
But it makes more sense that the only reason they would not like this match, he never mentions the age or anything like that.
Huh.
He always says he doesn't do anything, and that's what pisses him off. And
Yeah.
it makes so much more sense now.
Yeah, because he's not 42.
Because he's a worker. Like, Francis is a worker. So he wants his daughter to be with a man who's a hard worker.
Right.
And is going to provide, not a man who's living off his family money. It makes a lot more sense.
It makes so much more sense.
And I'm like, oh, shit. But either way, this mysterious E.F. Glenn woman is on the manifest in their party.
Okay.
So this article was correct. She's right there, written down. She is listed as a 54-year-old woman.
Oh.
But still weird that they couldn't find her, and I want to know who she is. Just because I'm like, who are you? And why wouldn't you come out?
Right.
And why couldn't they ever talk to you again? Because when I first found it, I was like, oh my God, she's going to be listed as 25 and I'm going to lose my gut.
What if it was just like an
shit.
aunt or something?
It probably was.
Yeah.
But I'm like, why didn't you come out?
Maybe
It's
she's
just weird.
private.
And they never mentioned that she was there with them in Italy.
That is weird.
I'm like, who's this?
Maybe she's not 54, and maybe it was Dorothy dressed up like a 54-year-old
And
woman.
maybe she just claimed she was 54.
But then at the same time, like, why was he doing all this press?
Yeah.
If she was,
I don't know.
yeah, fucking weird.
Because also she looked 25. She didn't look 54. So I feel like somebody would be like, you are not. And also at that point, her face was everywhere in her description. So, but it's all the more reason why she couldn't come out.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I have no idea.
I just don't know. I just thought it was weird. I was like, who is E.F. Glenn? It was fun to find the name on the manifest.
That is
like,
cool.
There you are. But the Raleigh News and Observer did a piece on this whole thing. Like the whole, like him coming back to New York, him like putting out the ads, all this. And Junior actually talked to a reporter from there, and he expressed his love for Dorothy and said, quote, "I'm deeply in love with the young lady and hope to wed her if she is alive."
Oh.
He gave the interview the day after he arrived in New York, and he had his father with him at the time. His father, who he credited for actually pushing him to declare his love for Dorothy.
Oh.
He said he wanted to, but was hesitant, and his father encouraged him because maybe it would help her come back if she had left willingly.
True.
But later, his father was like, no, I never would have done that. I never would have told him to declare that. That's like inappropriate. Because this was like very inappropriate for him to say like, I'm going to wed her when she comes back. It's like, ooh, no, you got to talk to the dad first. Back then. Like this was a very like taboo thing that he did. Like this was to declare your intentions to wed her without speaking to her family first was
You need
like
a blessing.
ooh, that's a no, buddy.
Right.
So it sounded like he was trying to get the heat off himself and was like, my dad told me to do it. And it's like real nice. But he further said to him, the reporters that day, Junior did, "I might add an expression of hope that she is alive and safe and that she will consent to marry me." And he said he wanted to meet with Dorothy's mother in particular in Atlantic City. And he said they had plans to.
Okay.
so that he could discuss this with her. And he wanted to tell her everything he intended with Dorothy from the beginning.
Okay.
And he's telling the reporter this. He said, quote, "I shall conceal nothing from her concerning my acquaintance with Miss Dorothy." Now, his father was also very concerned that anyone would think that their family's willingness to bless a marriage between their son and Dorothy, or their willingness to aid in finding her, was for personal gain. The parents were very, like, the father was like, I don't want anyone thinking that I'm just trying to mooch off of this family. Like, I got my own stuff.
Well,
I'm
that's the
fine.
thing.
So, like, no one, I'm just trying to help.
He has his own money.
So Papa Griscom stated to reporters, quote, "I hope to be able to impress the public with the fact that myself and my wife are not in any way seeking an alliance with the family of Miss Arnold for any personal reason."
Yeah, good.
He was like, leave me the fuck alone. Now, this all sounds fine, but like I said, oh man, Papa Arnold did not like any of this interview. He was so fucking annoyed that Junior declared his intentions to marry his daughter. This was a big no-no, and when the intended is missing, oof, that's even worse. And it made him look even more unfit to marry into that family.
Oh, shit.
So you were supposed to, like, talk to the father first, declare your intention, not the other way around.
Right.
Not declare your intention to the entire world and then talk to the father.
Right.
So her father, Francis Arnold, was quoted later as saying about this interview, said, quote, "It is nonsense. This man is pestered to death, and he is likely to make any kind of statement. His words are likely to be perverted, too. The girl is lost, and I am convinced that Griscom does not know where she is." So he's like, I don't think he has any idea where she is or, like, did anything, but he's gross, and I don't want him talking about it.
I don't blame him, because this poor man is, like, probably trying to come to terms with the fact that his daughter may have been murdered, because that was his belief, that she was murdered.
That was his belief until the end.
So he's probably like trying to figure out how to deal with the loss of his daughter and accept the fact that she was murdered.
Yeah.
And he still has no idea where she is. And this guy is like, well, I want to marry her. He's
Well,
probably
I would
just
like to marry her. And
pissed
it's like,
off.
well, she's not even around. We don't
Right.
even know if she's alive.
Right. Like, I think I would be angry if somebody was talking about my missing daughter and was like, I plan to marry her.
And it's like, well, maybe can we find her first?
Like, that's
I don't
cute.
know.
You should have said that before she went missing.
Well, and also it's just the time. The time there were protocols.
Yeah.
There were, like, and especially in this kind of society, in this high society.
I like the whole idea of, like, going to whoever you're going to marry and making sure their family's cool with it.
Well, just being like, hey.
Like, I plan to do this. Like, when Drew asked me to marry him,
I love it.
I said he had to talk to my dad and my grandpa.
I love that.
Yeah.
And John came to talk to both my parents and you.
That's true.
I got all of your permission.
I was so fucking
Which
stoked.
is so adorable.
It was
I
the
love
cutest. I think I was like, what was I, like 13, 14?
It's just like it's I don't think it's by any means required, but it's like a nice gesture, I guess.
I don't think it's required, but I think it's respectful.
I think it's I wouldn't even it's just in my personal opinion.
Yeah.
I think it's nice. I just think it's like a nice gesture, because it's, to me, the way John was doing it was like, hey, I just want you guys to, like, be in on this, like, this exciting thing. It wasn't so much being like, can I have your daughter?
Right.
Like, it was more like, hey, I just want to let you guys know, like, this is what I plan to do. Like, you want to be in on it, kind of thing. Like, so
that's what I mean by, like, respectful.
And then it's like, but it's like, I don't think it's like it was back then, where it was literally like, I have to ask permission to have your daughter.
Yeah,
you know?
no, that's like weird.
It's
and
just
gross,
like,
because we're not property. But
yeah, and I think it's also just anybody. It can be anybody. Like, it can be anybody that your
They're close
intended
to.
loves and respects. Like, you can go to them and be like, hey, you want to be in on this whole
Yeah,
thing? I think that's
exactly.
a cool way to look at it.
that's what I think.
But back then, it was not just a cool way to look at it.
You literally needed
It was
permission.
like, you need to have a formal thing.
Well, and like, I feel like back then a daughter literally was a possession, which is
for sure.
fucking weird.
Absolutely. Like, most of these, this was all just little pieces of chess in the game of the society games here. But yeah, so he was not happy. But he said he didn't think he knew where she was. He was just annoyed at the whole thing. I'm sure he was like, okay, just like, shut up.
Yeah.
In another article, they said that Francis Arnold would classify Junior as, quote, a gentleman of leisure, and that he, quote, does not approve of that class of man when a son-in-law is in question. And now that makes more sense. Mm-hmm. It makes more sense, because he is saying nothing about the age.
Right.
And it's all about, he doesn't do shit.
Exactly.
So it's all coming together now. Part 2, we're bringing it all together.
Part 2. want to be more careful about using plastic in everyday life, but it is easy to overlook the plastic from synthetic materials in our closets. Everlane has made it 90% of the way to having no new plastics in their entire apparel, footwear, and packaging supply chain. To combat the last 10% that currently doesn't have quality alternatives, they've created the Next Collective, a fellowship program to boost innovation for ending new plastics in the fashion industry. 100% of their shipping packaging is made from either 100% recycled plastic or FSC certified paper. 97% of apparel materials containing polyester and nylon are made from certified recycled fibers, and more than 1 million pounds of nylon and 9 million plastic bottles recycled. That is absolutely amazing. Everlane's fellowship program brings diverse perspectives together to clean up the fashion industry. This year alone, they gave $100,000 in grants to entrepreneurs working to reduce new plastics. So not only is Everlane good for the environment, but let me tell you, friends, it's also great for your closet. I bought a ton of stuff from Everlane the other day because I just couldn't help myself. And I said, well, happy Earth Day, Earth and myself. And I got a ton of stuff from the Everyone Vintage jean and denim collection because their denim is like, I don't know what it is about it, but it's so soft, and it also doesn't shrink in the wash machine like other denim. I think it's magic denim, to be honest with you. But I got the Everyone denim jacket, and it is super duper cute. I got it in the color Broken in Blue for like a little 90s vibe, baby. And I also got the 100% Human sweatshirt because I was like, I am 100% human, so I should get this, even though, I don't know, sometimes I think I might be an alien, but that's beside the point. Make Earth Day every day and be a part of a movement for more sustainable clothing. Go to everlane.com/morbid and sign up for 10% off your first order. That's 10% off your first order when you go to everlane.com/morbid and sign up.
Now, her brother John, who was the one who went to Italy with his mother and punched George Grisham in the face.
Yes.
He said of this interview, quote, "I don't believe Grisham said such a thing." So he didn't even believe that he was like, no, I think that reporter's making it up.
Maybe he didn't.
And he said, if he did, I think he did, personally.
You think so?
I think that John was kind of being like a dick about it. He was like, I don't think he said that. Because then he followed it with, if he did, it is the height of indiscretion and almost of impudence. He then followed it with, can you imagine a man so foolish as to give out a statement like that to the newspaper without consulting the family? So I think it was him being like, oh, no way did he say that. Like, because he'd have to be a fucking idiot to say that. And it's him being like, you're a fucking idiot. You're not marrying into my family.
Damn.
Yeah.
This is so like Romeo and Juliet.
It's so intense. Now, he added that he didn't ever believe Junior was a serious fiance for her sister. And he said, or for his sister. And he said, after seeing letters between the two, it appeared she was not as enamored with him as he wanted everyone to believe. He said there were other men she was more friendly with. And then he followed it with, like, he didn't even live in New York.
Okay.
Like it was like
long distance is impossible.
Like nail in the coffin. He didn't live in New York, guys. It's not happening. Now, this was conflicting with what friends said later. Some of her girlfriends said she did speak about Junior and her intention to someday marry him a lot.
Okay.
Neighbors of his parents, so his parents had a vacation home in Maine. And she would go there sometimes to spend time with him. Neighbors at that vacation home said they saw them together and they could tell their affection for each other.
She also sold a bunch of jewelry just to go hang out with him.
Just to go see him. So there's a lot of different points of view here. And what it seems is the family, the Arnold family, is just trying to downplay it to save their face.
That's exactly what it is.
But in reality, it seems to me like these two
were in love.
Very much in love.
Yeah.
Now, John said that he and his father and his mother were not going to be going to Philadelphia or Atlantic City to meet with him, like he was saying to reporters, like, I'm going to meet with the mother. And he was like, we have no plans to do that. Like,
Weird.
That's a lie. So the Boston Globe, which every time I see the Boston Globe, I'm like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Ran an article that was called To Philadelphia in an Automobile.
Okay.
And another connection to Philadelphia was made here. So in this article, it is stated that in February, John Arnold, that same brother, and Keith, the lawyer, the one, John Keith is the lawyer who they called like the day after she was gone missing, and he was the one doing the investigation.
Yeah.
So the two of them, remember, he's a family friend too. They both met with the chief of the Philadelphia Detective Bureau. His name was Captain Soder. They talked to him and said they had some information. The brother and the attorney had some information that led them to believe that Dorothy was actually in Philadelphia and still alive.
Oh, okay.
This information was apparently supplied to them by an old man who was not named in the article, and I couldn't find his name anywhere. The old man actually lived near the Arnolds in New York, but did work for hotels in Philly. He said on that day in December that she went missing, he said he swore he saw Dorothy between 4 and 4:30 p.m. on Park Avenue near 78th Street, right around the corner from their house. He said he saw her and described exactly what she was wearing to the letter, and said he watched her as she walked down the curb holding 2 packages. He said she was quickly stopped out of nowhere by an automobile pulling up to the curb. A woman in the back of the automobile spoke to Dorothy through the window, and after a quick conversation, which he couldn't hear the subject of, Dorothy got into the automobile, seemingly of her own free will, and the car drove off.
Huh.
Now, what is interesting about this is that the woman in the car was being driven by a driver. This driver was a man that this old man witness knew in Philly.
Oh.
So that's why, he said that's why he even took note of this in the first place, because he may not have ever noticed this exchange happen, because why would he?
Picturing this in my head is so spooky.
Isn't it? But he knew this driver so well, in fact, that they tipped their hats to each other before this whole thing took place. So he was sure that this woman was a Philly woman and that this was Dorothy getting into the back of the car with her. Because remember, he knows the driver. So he's like, I could even get in touch with him.
So did they get in touch with him?
Well, the old man witness said, I'll try to locate this driver in Philly, but he said, I have to be paid for my time to do this. Mm-hmm. Now, everybody who got involved in this case wanted to be paid something.
Well, because this family's rich as fuck.
Exactly. The Captain Soder, they said he was not super convinced about the story, but said he would leave no stone unturned looking for her in Philly, at all the hotels, the rooming houses, everywhere. Now, so that's going on. Mm-hmm. The family is denying that this ever happened. But Captain Soder is like, it happened.
Well, how would they know?
Many times during this, the family denies something happens, and other people are like, no, it happened.
Well, and it's just like, how do you, like, you don't know what happened, so how do you know it didn't happen?
Exactly. So then, that same Philly detective captain said he got a call the next day from someone who attended Bryn Mawr with Dorothy.
Right.
This person said they had seen her at North 18th Street and Mount Vernon in Philly. So now we have some real Philly sightings here.
Right.
It's sad because one of the last lines in this article was probably a regrettable one for the reporter who wrote it. It said, quote, "The next 24 hours, it is believed, will bring forth some tangible fact that will lead to a solution of the mystery that has baffled police and an army of private detectives for 52 days. Nope. Woof. Spoiler alert, it didn't.
No.
Now, so that happened. They weren't able to find anything to confirm that, but this person claimed they saw her in Philadelphia.
Okay.
So now, same month in February, it became known that Dorothy Arnold, this just came out because things are now coming out about all of her movements. It became known that Dorothy Arnold had taken a secret photograph with George Griscom Jr., one that he had failed to mention initially. So the Boston Globe reported that shortly before Griscom sailed away to Italy and before Dorothy went missing, the two of them made an appointment together at William P. S. Earl Photography in the city. They sat together for a professional photo, and then apparently Dorothy had sent a copy of that photo to Griscom while he was in Italy.
Oh, also I love that you had to like make an appointment to take a selfie.
Isn't that adorable?
That's iconic.
I love that. So now this is fueling the elopement or runaway rumors.
Yeah.
People believe she had eloped or left to start a new life away from this whole society business.
But who did she elope with?
Well, that's what people don't understand. They're like, was it another man? Was she planning to elope with George Griscom Jr. and something happened? So people were spotting her everywhere, and most of them were obviously hoaxes, but the idea that she possibly eloped with, again, either Griscom or some mystery man was further cemented with the, because even more shadiness came out of this, because Edward Hart, who was the clerk of the Marriage License Bureau, stated to investigators in February that back at Thanksgiving of 1910, before she went missing.
Oh, like a month before. Pinkerton detectives had come in and done a thorough search of the marriage license records to see if Dorothy had filed for one. A month before she went missing.
Yes. So they were searching even before she went missing to see if she was trying to elope, which means they were worried she was going to elope even before this. So this family who is claiming no way could she have done that, they were worried about it before she even went missing.
Okay.
So worried about it that they had sent Pinkerton detectives to go search.
Girl, she left on her own volition.
That's what I'm saying.
She left on her own volition. You
That's what
can't
I'm
tell me
saying.
otherwise.
So then the family denied that.
Of course they did, because it would look shady as fuck.
Of course, but Edward Hart came out and in the New York Times was like, nope, they definitely remember. The article said he stated that, quote, the search was so thorough that it would have been impossible for any man of intelligence to have forgotten that incident.
Wow.
Shade.
He was like, fuck you.
So much shade.
It disrupted my whole day.
Yeah.
And I remember.
He said it took like a week because he was like, there's so many marriage.
Of course.
And it's not like they're like digital at that point. And he said
They're not?
And when they came in, he said he asked them dates to search to narrow it down. And they said they were searching any time within that year for a marriage license, but they said particularly very recently.
Okay.
So they thought that she could have been married anytime that previous year, but they were like, let's look really recently, but like actually in the past year.
What?
So the family was worried that for the past year she could have been married.
Dude.
He also said they did the same search in December for her as well and turned nothing up. So they did it twice.
And that was again before she went missing?
No, this was after.
After.
But they did it twice. So they were really worried that she eloped.
Yeah.
Then,
well, excuse me.
No.
So, excuse me.
No, I will not. I meant to say like no worries, but like I was just like no.
And
I
was
will
like,
not excuse you.
okay.
You were like, well, all right.
So if they were looking for marriage licenses before because they thought that she had eloped, had she gone missing at another time?
She did not go missing, but as we're going to talk about, she went to Washington. She would visit friends from Bryn Mawr a lot. And
Yeah, quote unquote, anyways.
And it kind of came out that a couple of those were probably...
to see George.
Yeah. So I think when she would do that, they were worried that she had eloped during those times. So it looks like they were trying to keep up on that.
She dipped because she wanted to be away from them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I looked up as many records as I could possibly look up. I was like going hard onto this until like 2:30 a.m.
Iconic.
And I could not find any kind of record that she did elope, but she could have, who knows? I don't know. I couldn't look through every record of every state. She could have gone to another state.
Well, the other thing is she's like a smart gal. Maybe she just ran away with a man's and like didn't marry him, but like they considered themselves married.
Exactly. Well, then it was also reported that after they went forward with the search in Philadelphia to try to see if maybe that like story of that old guy was panning out, a week later, the district attorney, Charles S. Whitman, told Francis Arnold that he was like, you know what, I'm offering my complete services to you to find Dorothy. And he said, I'll give your family full access to anything you need to find her. Like he just wanted to let them know, like, we're here for you. We're going to help you. Apparently, Francis Arnold responded, please don't. We're not looking for Dorothy any longer. He even thought he had misunderstood. He was like, maybe he's misunderstanding what I'm offering him. So he repeated the offer. He was like, like,
I'm
telling you that, like, we'll just offer you, like, anything you need. And he was like, nope.
We're not looking for her anymore?
And the district attorney was asked about this later, and he said, it is true that I offered Mr. Arnold a week ago last Saturday all the facilities of my office to assist him in locating his missing daughter. He said, I particularly assured him that if there was the slightest suspicion that any crime had been committed, I was ready to trail the thing to the bitter end, regardless of time and expense. I talked to Mr. Arnold on the phone and never thought but that I would receive the thanks of a father for the offer to assist him. Instead, he exclaimed to me over the wire, please don't, Mr. Whitman, please don't. We are not looking for Dorothy anymore now. And then he said he just hung up.
I'm sorry, that's bizarre.
What the fuck is that
Like, why
about?
did you stop looking for her unless you know something?
I don't know what this family is about,
For
but
me,
that's weird.
And also, that's more than like, we've just accepted that she's dead, because again, that's what he believed. But I just feel like if there were like a chance to even solidify that information, he would have wanted to use the resources available. So to me, that says,
I know what happened.
I know what happened.
And I think,
like, concrete, I know what happened.
the more I go into this, the more I'm like, I think you know that she packed up and left, and you don't know how to spin this.
Do you think that maybe she wrote to them at some point or sent word to them that she was okay?
I do wonder. I wonder if they have some kind of concrete evidence that said she
just didn't want to be around anymore.
And
it would have been incredibly embarrassing for the family.
my
It
God,
would have been a stain on the legacy.
Oh, yeah.
Even though, like, I'm sure they consider this a stain on the legacy anyways.
But that would have been worse, she left this high society woman that was supposed to be marrying an upstanding gentleman and carrying on the family name.
The way that you said gentleman. Like, okay, Cal Hockley.
Somebody asked about my love for Cal Hockley. I will not tell you.
It just is what it is.
No,
I just love
honestly, when I watched Titanic for the first time, I loved Leo. Obviously, I was a Leonardo DiCaprio girl, but like
a Leonardo DiCaprio girl in the right that it's literally written inside of her childhood closet, which then became my closet
in glitter paint.
Yeah,
no, I was like a full blown. I loved Leo when I was younger.
Yeah.
So like, don't get me wrong,
Romeo
Jack,
and Juliet
for sure, but like. Hi, Cal. I don't know.
Man.
I don't know. He's a dick. Like, I don't want that. But like, I kind of get it a little bit.
Okay.
That's all I'm going to say.
Alrighty. Alrighty.
Billy Zane, you know?
Billy Zane. Yeah, I was going to say, let's Billy Zane and not Cal Hockley.
But like Billy Zane as Cal Hockley. That's the only thing.
So Billy Zane in old dress.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
All right.
I like that. Yeah, because when he gets in the lifeboat, pretend I'm like he like holds a kid to get in the lifeboat. That's where I jump
we
off.
draw the line there.
That's where I jump off. I have not watched Titanic in literally I think a decade.
I can't. I can't.
But doesn't he like slap Rose too?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think so.
Yeah. So I'm like I don't want like his thing.
No.
He just like
you like what he looks like.
He looks all right.
And in the beginning, I think you like his like attitude,
the little swagger there.
Yeah,
that's all. But then I jump off real quick.
Yeah. Oh, bad choice of words.
I know. I did. You know what? I'm gonna get out of this really quick.
Oh my God, dude! The first time I watched the Titanic, the amount of boogers that came out of my face.
I don't know if I could watch it.
No, I can't.
It might like really bum me because
it's horrible.
In my head, all I can see is that old couple hugging on the bed. In steerage. I just can't.
That's the thing. Like watching it as a child, I was like, oh, so scary. Boats.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, oh, being away from Drew forever?
Yeah. No. Like I can.
That's what makes me cry.
Yeah, that's the thing. So maybe that's why I haven't watched it in forever.
Even more boogers.
But you know what? It's just like it's just a looks thing with Cal Hockley in the beginning. That's really all it is.
And the swagger.
And the swagger.
Swagger.
But
no one on the corner has swagger like Cal Hockley.
There you go. There you go.
I crack myself.
Oh man, I also love the name Cal. So
I like that name too.
It's a cute name.
Yeah.
But anyway, we've digressed. But people said they miss a digression every once in a while because we haven't done it in a while.
Yeah.
So there's one.
There you go.
But yeah, so we're back.
I have like 9 words to say to you. Hearty steak and potatoes with balsamic cranberry pan sauce.
Bring it.
Get in my belly. Again, I got this meal from HelloFresh. With HelloFresh, you get farm fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, affordable, and freaking delicious. That's exactly why it's America's #1 meal kit. Guys, I'm not kidding you. When I made that meal the other night, my taste buds were dancing within my mouth. Drew came home from work while I was making it, and he was like, "What did you order?" And I was like, "How dare you not think that I could cook something so delicious?" And I was like, "This is from HelloFresh. I got farm fresh ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to my door, and now you get to eat them." Here's the thing. HelloFresh is just so freaking easy because it's all about convenience with HelloFresh. Not only do the ingredients come pre-portioned so you're not overbuying or wasting food, but it's easier than ever to get filling meals on the table within a snap with options like family-friendly or quick and easy recipes. I tend to lean toward those a lot, but every now and then I want like a little more difficult one or, one that's just gonna like take a little bit longer because I find stress relief in cooking, so those ones are great too. You can pick from 50 different weekly options, and you can skip a meal whenever you need to. You can change your delivery date or update your preferences all within the HelloFresh app. HelloFresh has introduced so much good food into my life. I had no idea that I like pork as much as I do, and they have a lot of great pork dishes. And it's just taught me so much about cooking in general. So if I'm, not having a HelloFresh meal that night, I can apply what I've learned. Not only are you eating great meals, but you're also learning how to become a really good chef yourself. Go to HelloFresh.com/morbid16 and use code morbid16 for up to 16 free meals and 3 free gifts. Again, that's HelloFresh.com/morbid16 and use code morbid16 for up to 16 free meals and 3 free gifts. For most of us, quote unquote, learning a second language in high school or, maybe college was not exactly a high point in our academic careers. I said like 2S loca to Drew the other day and he was like, what? And I was like, that's like very simple Spanish, sir. Like, you don't remember that? And he was like, I don't want to talk about my experience with Spanish in high school. And I was like, oh, okay, triggered. But now, thanks to Babbel, the language learning app that sold more than 10 million subscriptions, there is an addictively fun and easy way to learn a new language. Whether you're going to be traveling abroad, connecting in a deeper way with family, or you just have some free time and you want to learn a new language, Babbel teaches bite-sized language lessons that you will actually use in the real world. I have wanted to learn to speak French since I was a youngest child. Literally, I was 5 years old in the dentist chair and I was like, I'm gonna go to the Eiffel Tower after this, because they were like, imagine somewhere in your mind that you want to go. And I was like, that's where I want to go. But first I gotta learn how to speak French. And I don't even think Babbel existed back then, but it does now, so I'm learning French. Babbel's 15-minute lessons make it the perfect way to learn a new language on the go. Other language learning apps use AI for their lesson plans, but Babbel lessons were created by over 100 language experts, not a bot and site. Their teaching method has been scientifically proven to be effective, so you know it's for real. And with Babbel, you can choose from 14 different languages. There's Spanish, there's French, there's Italian, there's German, there's more. Plus, Babbel's speech recognition technology helps you to improve your pronunciation and your accent. You know, all the time, Alaina and I just press play on pronouncenames.com. But with Babbel, you can actually say it into your phone or whatever you're learning on, and it will be like, yeah, you did that good, or maybe you could work on that. There are just so many ways to learn with Babbel. In addition to lessons, you can access podcasts, games, videos, stories, even live classes, which are super fun. Plus, it comes with a 20-day money-back guarantee. Start your new language learning journey today with Babbel. Right now, save up to 60% off your subscription when you go to babbel.com/morbid. That's babbel.com/morbid for up to 60% off your subscription. Babbel, language for life.
So, by March, the Burlington Free Press actually had a headline that said, Arnold's are entire ignorance. So that was cool. And also not grammatically correct.
Wait, what? Arnold's
are in entire ignorance.
Oh, so they don't be knowing.
But it's that doesn't sound right. That does not tumble out of my mouth and feel good.
No, because I was like, sorry, what'd you say?
Yeah, it really doesn't. Now, they spoke with a very close family friend whose name was Clarence Ashley. And he told the paper that any rumors that the Arnolds knew where Dorothy was or knew she may be a runaway were false. Because at this point, since you and I were just talking about it, so was the rest of the people. They were like, this is seeming weird. And I think this family knows what happened.
Of course. They've been weird from the jump.
Exactly. So he said, when asked if they had any theories about where she was, he stated, quote, they are convinced she is dead. They have held various theories, but that is the end of their reasoning.
Here's what that says to me.
And that's in March.
Dead to them.
Exactly.
Dead to them. They consider her dead.
Nailed it.
Alley-oop.
This is when the reporter pointed out that several other reporters were really concerned after speaking with the family about this situation because they all believed that they were not behaving as a, quote, family in mourning.
Yeah.
And lots of reporters were like, they're weird about it.
Right.
And it's weird that they're just stating she's dead, but saying they don't know anything.
Right.
And Clarence Ashley's response to that was, quote, that may appear so to the public. It is one thing to realize death when the corpse is seen, and another when the real end is in doubt.
Yeah.
Which he is not wrong.
That is absolutely correct.
Now, he stated that suicide was considered, but no means could be found because she didn't have a revolver, he said.
Okay.
And she had not come in possession of poison that they could find record of. They searched the Bronx woods and found nothing. They said that she actually liked to go into the Bronx woods with a book often and would sit for hours and just read in the woods.
Oh, cool.
She seemed cool.
Imagine doing that. Like, I wish you could do that now.
I know, and she just seemed cool.
She did.
Like, good for her that she would just, like, read in the woods.
She's reading at leisure.
So that's the other thing about, like, them pointing out that she bought chocolates and a novel and it's so funny because I found several articles that were like, these are womanly things that they buy when they go on a long trip. And I was like, okay.
I don't know
I don't
about
know
that.
if we can, like, totally throw a blanket on that.
You know, it's funny. I was just in Burlington and I bought so much chocolate.
Exactly.
So much.
And you were going on a trip.
And a lot of books.
There you go. So maybe they were right about you.
Maybe.
But when it comes to Dorothy, she read all the time.
Yeah.
Like, she was always picking up novels and
Yeah.
shit, and she just wanted some fucking chocolate, I feel like.
Hell yeah.
Who knows?
Truffles are delish.
Now, he said he believed that she was abducted and killed. He stated
Who
this.
does?
The Clarence Ashley there,
Oh,
the family
okay.
friend, who was also the dean of one of the colleges in the area.
Okay. And like has connections to this family. So
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Apparently, he had known Dorothy since she was little. He had a daughter that they were friends. Like, there was a very close connection here. He also went really detailed with this, like, theory he had of her being abducted and killed, which is, like, a little strange to me.
Yeah.
He said, quote, "I am inclined to believe that the girl was abducted and killed by an overdose of chloroform, or held and killed later. I have a feeling that sometime later, one of the lonely Long Island woods will give up the body of Dorothy Arnold. It could lie there undiscovered, and an adequate search has been impossible."
Oh.
What, sir?
Why'd you just bring
What?
chloroform into
An
the
overdose
equation?
of chloroform? That was very fucking specific.
Yeah.
Like, what? And of course, reporters were like, yeah, but remember, she would have had to been abducted in, like, broad daylight on Fifth Avenue, or near it at least. And he said, quote, "We New Yorkers never notice anything much, and it would have been very easy for 3 or 4 persons to hustle a girl into a waiting automobile or carriage, especially if it were done under the guise of friendly joking. The hand over the mouth, the little struggle, would be taken only as part of a friendly prank."
If
What,
somebody
sir?
tried to chloroform me as a joke, I can assure you that I wouldn't be like, OMG, friendly little prank.
Also, Clarence, who are your friends? Like,
Yeah.
the hand over the mouth, the friendly struggle, the throwing into a carriage. I'm like, who the fuck are you hanging out with?
Do you know what this is giving me, though? Gilmore Girls. It's giving me Logan and his pals. It literally
It's
is.
so funny because someone got so mad that we mentioned Gilmore Girls so much, but it is. It's very Life and Death Brigade. It is. It's very much. This whole thing is very Gilmore
I could
Girls.
relate anything back to Gilmore Girls.
Hell
That's
yeah.
a specialty that you raised me with.
Oh, hell yeah. It's a skill that I have honed over decades.
Where
and I will
you lead,
continue.
I will follow.
Hell yeah. Anywhere.
Anywhere that you tell me to.
It's very Life and Death Brigade. It's
It is.
something they would do.
Yeah, so
I
don't
guess
know.
Clarence might be onto something. Maybe he was an omnia paratus with them.
I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. Go watch Gilmore Girls, you get it. So yeah, he did say that the motive could have just been ransom, which makes sense because it's a very
Yeah, it could have been, but then, like, they didn't ever send ransom.
well, a lot of ransoms came, but they thought they were hoaxes. So maybe there was a real one in there that slipped by. Or he said maybe it was just possession of the girl herself, which I was like, whoa, Clarence.
That's bleak.
And then he went on to call her a very handsome woman. And it all got very strange. And I was like, I'm going to dip out of this article a bit.
Okay.
So that was weird. But also in March, reports surfaced that Dorothy's mother sent letters to the chief detectives in Oklahoma.
Where the fuck does Oklahoma come into this
I'm
whole
saying
thing?
this went everywhere. So she sent letters to the chief of detectives in Oklahoma saying that she believed her daughter was in Oklahoma and was hiding out there.
Okay.
Yeah. So this was because there had been all this talk about this couple in Oklahoma that came out. Now, 2 detectives were in Oklahoma investigating this already, but it was all very hush-hush. Nobody was talking about it. Then immediately following all of this, an article in the Dispatch Republican, a Kansas paper, reported that friends of a man and his new wife in Muskogee, we found it online.
Muskogee.
Muskogee.
Hey.
We got it right. Muskogee. It's in Oklahoma. and I wanted to say it right. So Muskogee, Oklahoma, they were friends. So these are people that are friends of this man and his new wife in Muskogee, Oklahoma. They were convinced that the wife, who was going by the name Virginia, they believe she was Dorothy.
Okay. Tell me why.
This gets crazy. Now, a reporter spoke to the couple and said that they wouldn't deny that she was Dorothy, but they also wouldn't say she wasn't.
Cannot confirm
They wouldn't
or
deny that she was, and they wouldn't say she was, basically. I don't know why I said it that way. They wouldn't say she wasn't. They wouldn't say she was.
Could not confirm
Sorry,
nor deny.
I said that really stupidly. And they said the man was very nervous, like sweating bullets during this interview.
Really?
At one point, he said her maiden name was Arnold and then backtracked. Now, he was sweating, and at one point, according to the article, was wiping sweat from his forehead and then said, "I wish this was all over."
Oh,
Yeah.
that makes me sad.
Now, let me quickly bring up this this newspaper article, because this newspaper article where they talk about it shows you how, like, it's just a weird situation. So I'm going to read just part of this. It says, at one point in the interview, the husband, while much confused, said about his wife's maiden name that it was Arnold. He immediately corrected himself, adding, or whatever her name was. Then to his wife, he said, "What was your name before we were married?"
How long have you been married, y'all?
And she said, "Never mind what my name was." She said, "I am Mrs. DeLoach now." And a servant of the couple that was near the couple during the several days before this said the young woman said to her, "I'm Dorothy Arnold," at one point. Now, initials on their trunk, that their luggage, add to the suspicion. When they first arrived, the name on one end of the trunk had been scratched away, but a capital letter A could be seen.
What?
Since then, the initials JWD have been crudely painted over the original letters. On the bottom of the trunk are the words New York City.
Okay, solved it.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah, come on.
Isn't that insane? I was it was blowing my mind. Now, friends said he was telling them that they were secretly married for 18 months, and she was saying less than a year. But the friends were like, no, it couldn't be more than 3 months that they've been married. What? Remember, this was March.
And she went missing in December.
It literally lines up perfectly. Everyone said she arrived the 1st of February in Oklahoma. Dorothy was gone in December. The real reason friends contacted police was because one of the friends was watching a, quote, picture show. That's what it said in the article. With this man, the husband. And he said that suddenly in the middle of the show, he turned to his friend and said, "You don't think my wife is Dorothy Arnold, do you?" Friend, what?
Wait, do you think this man knew who
I don't know.
She really was?
I don't know.
Or do you think that he was like, fuck, now I'm caught up in this?
Oh shit. Friends also said they joked with her about how much she resembled Dorothy in the pictures in the paper, because she did. She looked just like her.
Do you have the pictures?
I don't have a picture, but just from them describing it, the blue gray eyes, the brown hair, same height, same weight, same everything. And she would randomly say, "Well, I am Dorothy Arnold."
What?
And they thought it was a joke. But apparently this woman, like we said, had the luggage from New York. She had fine clothing with her and fine jewels when she arrived. And they were apparently they were quoted as being penniless because they had really nice shit. But she wouldn't have any money. Because she didn't bring anything with her.
Do you think that she would have wanted to be penniless? Because we did see that she did enjoy being a woman of society to some degree.
But I don't know if it was
Or do you think it was all a facade and maybe they were not penniless?
And that's the thing. But isn't that a weird one? And what's weird is there's several articles about this. They went hard at it, and then it was just let go.
Just went away.
Just let go. And I'm like, that might be Dorothy Arnold, guys.
What?
What the fuck?
That's really bizarre.
Now, so weird. Now, of course, we already talked briefly about the rumors that she had eloped or left on her own accord, but because of the time period, people started wondering if she had found herself pregnant.
Okay.
And had undergone a secret procedure that was possibly botched. Because this happened a lot. Now, are you ready for it to get weirder?
Yes.
April 2014.
I was like, probably not.
Not 2014. 1914.
Okay, a little different.
This is when headlines read, Port of missing women is found private hospital maternity home in Pittsburgh. Is raided by police when physician confesses crime. Says Dorothy Arnold died there. Famous mystery of missing heiress may be solved in coming investigation. The victims were cremated. Bodies of Miss Arnold and others who did not recover were burned.
What?
Now, yes, so Dr. C.C. Meredith and associates, like he had a few associates in this whole thing, were arrested for running an illegal, super janky abortion clinic in Pittsburgh, where several women had died horrifically. It was called the House of Mystery, and several women went missing for real there. And it was like a hellish operation that they were running. One of the associates, Dr. Lutz, confessed that one of these women was Dorothy Arnold. He confessed that physicians in the area acted as, quote, feeders, and they would send women to these unskilled fucks to basically experiment on them in the name of offering abortions. And when shit went awry, they would throw them in the furnace and cremate them.
What the fuck?
Now, according to one article, it says, quote, Lutz says he was told there was a certain party that came to me from New York and was traced as far as my office. It was Dorothy Arnold. When asked about what had become of her, Meredith had said to have motioned to the skyward with both hands.
What?
Also, it said, quote, ashes in the basement of this facility and earth in a stone-walled pit was examined for traces of bone dust and quicklime, and they found it.
Okay.
Now, after this came out, of course, the family said it was ridiculous and untrue.
Because they didn't
believe
want her
any
to
of
be
it.
associated with an abortion. Because
No.
that would have been...
It's just getting more and more scandalous as far as they're
Right.
concerned. But then the family attorney, Keith there, John Keith, said that he had been called and visited Pittsburgh 2 months after Dorothy went missing because it was reported to them that a woman in a sanitarium there was claiming to be Dorothy.
Okay.
Now, this janky clinic was in Pittsburgh as well. Keith went there to talk to her, and she ended up not being Dorothy. But he did mention that he saw Dr. Meredith there.
Oh,
this guy.
weird.
And he asked him about Dorothy. He was like, have you seen this woman? And he said he got very uncomfortable and very nervous about it. Like,
Okay.
noticeably. So,
I feel like everybody is just so nervous.
but they can't find any concrete shit. It's just people
Right.
talking. So, in part one, we briefly mentioned that Dorothy had gone on a trip to Washington at some point, and she had gone so far as having her mail forwarded the week
Yes.
she was there. And we were like, that's weird. Mm-hmm. That trip was in November 1910, only like a month before she went missing. And it was actually the day before Thanksgiving. And she had spent Thanksgiving there in Washington. Now, if you
Without her
remember,
family.
the Pinkerton detectives had also gone at that time to find out if she had eloped.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
So do you think that she didn't tell her family that she wasn't going to be there
They claimed
for
that she told them about it. They let her go, that this was all permitted.
Okay.
But I don't know about any of this. Now, she was visiting her friend from Bryn Mawr, and her name is Theodosia Bates, which Hamilton, anyone.
Theodosia.
Dear Theodosia. While there, Theodosia remembers Dorothy complaining that she wasn't feeling well. And told her she believed she could be getting her period soon. Could she have been pregnant?
Maybe.
Now, also on that visit, she was literally staying in bed and had a big manila envelope delivered to the door at one point. And it was delivered on Thanksgiving, when the mail is closed.
Right.
So she would have had to have somebody bring it to her. Like, she would have to set that up. No one knows who, including Theodosia. She could not figure out who was bringing that mail. She was clearly upset after receiving this bulky envelope and ended up leaving on Friday when she was supposed to stay until Monday. And she said to Theodosia, quote, I always intended on leaving today. But that wasn't true,
Weird.
which is weird.
What do you think was in the envelope?
Well, so this lent itself to the rumors, of course, that she was possibly pregnant.
Yes.
And also the rumors that she had possibly ended her own life because of the constant rejection she might have been getting from these stories, because they thought that could have been a manuscript that came back to her.
Okay.
But,
You think it was that important to be delivered on Thanksgiving, though?
well, that's the thing. I don't know. None of this and who delivered it? Who
Right.
did she set up there to deliver that? Because it wasn't the regular mail.
Right.
It's so weird. Now, the suicide rumors came about, and her family even considered them a possibility at one point. At first, everyone was pushing the rumors off because aside from her writing troubles, she was seemingly a happy, healthy, and vibrant young woman. People who spoke to her that day that she went missing said she was sweet, happy, completely carefree, nothing out of the ordinary. But she was feeling a deep sting of rejection from not only publishing outlets, but her own family all the time.
Right, yeah.
And likely some friends as well about the thing that she is most passionate about. She also was not allowed to get her own place to try to hone these skills and was being forbidden from seeing the man she supposedly loved. So she had a lot going on.
Sucked.
So some people speculated that maybe the pressures of society life were not something she wanted, but something she felt like she had to pretend to want. And that can really wear on someone after a while, mixed with the rejection, the love life issues. That's a lot.
It is.
Her family did consider this a viable theory, but still clung to the idea later that she was abducted and killed.
Okay.
Because nobody could say that she seemed depressed or that she seemed off, or when they spoke to her that day, they were like, it would shock me if she was in the state of mind that she was about to end her life.
Right. And why wouldn't we have found her if she
Well,
did
that's the other thing. Where is she?
Right.
That's why that doesn't make sense to me. Now, April 1916 brought even darker and more strange leads because things went quiet for a while and then it popped right back into the headlines. A convicted felon in prison in Rhode Island suddenly confessed, saying he had been paid to help bury a girl in a cellar in West Point, and that girl was Dorothy Arnold. The prisoner's name was Edward Glenn Norris, and he was in for extortion.
Okay.
He was confessing because he recently found Jesus, so he wanted to clear his shit out. He is so over the top. He is such a trip, and I think he was lying through his teeth.
Okay.
He said a guy named Little Louie, a gangster named DuPonts, and a rich young fellow who ladies loved had joined them in doing this deed for some cash. He told reporters that this chick named Flo or Dutchie...
I mean, listen, remember the Bonnie Lee Bakley case with all the, like, whiz kid, fucking Duffy, Snuffy?
It all makes sense. Flo or Dutchie told him Little Louie had a job for him one day.
Okay.
So he goes through this whole thing where Louie was like, you know what a bullet is for? And he was like, yeah, I know what a bullet is for, Louie. And he's like, you better put one in your neck if shit goes wrong. And he was like, of course, Little Louie, I'll do that.
Yes, Little Louie.
Then he says something that sounds to me like it's straight out of like a parody, like a comedy. He says, quote, to the reporter, he says, that sounds funny to you people, but it's serious business with us crooks. We're paid to kill, and we'll get ourselves in the neck sometimes, so it might as well be done by our own bullets as by other gangsters and bulls. Life is short for all of us. I'm going to suddenly disappear after I leave this place. Sometimes, some dark night when nobody is looking, they'll get me as a rat and a stool pigeon. Sure.
I mean, yeah.
Like, all right.
Yeah.
All right, Glenn Norris,
man.
sir. So of this whole thing, he says it happened on the day Dorothy went missing, and he said himself and this random rich guy rode to New Rochelle, went up to this fancy home, and he said it had a huge porch, columns, etc. It was like this beautiful home.
Sure.
And a man with gray hair and a mustache answered the door and said to call him Doc.
Okay.
He said they went into the home and saw a girl on the couch. She was unconscious, seeming to have been drugged. She was wearing exactly what Dorothy was wearing. She had brown hair. And he said that they told him she was Dorothy Arnold because he said, quote, I never go into such jobs until I know who I'm up against.
All right. Fair. Smart.
They brought her into the car and drove her to another home in New Jersey where she was placed on a couch, still out of it. And they left the rich guy with her and Doc. Now, they were told she was having surgery. The next day, Little Louie told him she was dead, and part of their job was to go back and bury her.
Okay.
So he said they buried her in the cellar of the home, and they had to dig up the concrete and put more down to cover the hole. Police followed up on this because they had to.
Of course.
And they, the warden told them where. They went to a couple of homes, cellars. They found nothing.
Okay.
They dug up cellars. So that was just like
weird.
Bullshit, but weird.
Yeah.
Now, one more time, April 8th, 1921, the case made headlines again. A detective from the Bureau of Missing Persons, Captain John Ayers, was speaking at a conference in New York. And during this speech, he said that the Bureau and the Arnold family know exactly what happened to Dorothy Arnold and have for a while. He wouldn't answer any questions about it, and that was it.
That's not fair.
The next day, when reporters swarmed him to ask about it, he said he was misquoted and didn't know anything about it.
What?
What?
No.
So Francis Arnold died in 1922, and in his will he wrote, quote, "I have made no provisions in this will for my beloved daughter, Dorothy H.C. Arnold, as I am satisfied that she is not alive." He maintained until the end that he believed she was kidnapped and murdered.
Okay.
Mary Arnold died December 29th, 1928, and believed Dorothy was alive somewhere until the end.
Oh, okay. So the mom and dad did not agree.
After everything, the rest of the surviving family, and the family attorney John Keith believed she had killed herself and said so publicly.
Huh.
So all of them have a different view.
So what's interesting to me is that the father was satisfied with that the fact that she was dead. It's really interesting to me that the mom didn't believe she was dead and thought she was alive somewhere and had spoken to people in Oklahoma where that whole weird
was
thing
actively
happened.
investigating it.
And for me, it's kind of like the mom has more of a bond just naturally with the child, and like especially a daughter, I think.
Yeah.
So I think it's weird to me that like she was like, no, she's not dead.
I feel like she knew.
I think she knew, yeah.
Like she knew in her heart of hearts that she was somewhere.
And I think the dad was just not happy, but I think he was fine with just writing it off.
Yeah. I think
just
he
being
was like, this is what I'm comfortable believing.
And if she did leave, then she's as good as dead to me.
Exactly. That's exactly what I think it was.
Yeah.
I think it's so crazy too that if she did leave, she was bombarded all the time with like newspaper shit of her.
And it still never came
everywhere. And nothing ever.
It is
came
interesting.
Out.
I don't know.
How did you hide?
I feel like the strongest theory that you presented was definitely the Oklahoma couple.
That was wild to me.
And just the fact that woman
Hiding
was
in
like,
plain
maybe
sight.
I am Dorothy Arnold.
Yeah.
But then again, it's like how many people over the years have been like, maybe I am D.B.
Yeah,
Cooper.
exactly. So,
But I mean, don't know. Like the luggage and the time frame.
I also wonder that like botched operation or botched abortion, unfortunately, is a viable theory, especially at that time.
Yeah, it is.
So it's like, that's scary. But I think she dipped.
Yeah.
And she might have dipped with the wrong people, and maybe she was dead. Maybe she was killed at some point, or maybe something bad happened. But I think initially, I don't think it was an abduction. But then again, I say that, and I say that with such confidence, but then I'm like, nothing about that day says that she planned to dip.
Yeah, but
Like,
I
what
think
about
I think that was done with care.
That's true. But I don't know.
Because if she planned to dip, obviously she would be meticulous and making it seem like she wasn't going to dip.
You would think she would have gotten rid of some of that communication with like Griscom and stuff, and like, I don't know, taken some of her jewelry with her to pawn or something like that. Like,
okay. How about this, though? Maybe she didn't get rid of the communication with Griscom because she knew that she was going off to marry another man.
So she kept that as like a red herring.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's absolutely a thing. I mean, damn, she's a
Smart
criminal
lady.
mastermind. But
Hey, she might be. If you've recently bought anything, then you probably noticed that prices have gone up on everything, especially on the essentials like gas, groceries, utilities. But that's exactly why it is a great time to use GoodRx to at least save on your prescription costs. How, you ask? Well, I'll tell you. With GoodRx, you can instantly compare prescription prices at pharmacies in your neighborhood and find discounts that could save you up to 80%. 80%. GoodRx is free and it's easy to use. It also works whether you do or do not have insurance, so that's awesome. And even if you do have insurance, GoodRx might actually beat your copay price. You can check GoodRx online or on their app, which just so happens to be one of the most downloaded medical apps, guy. From there, you can find prescription savings at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide: CVS, Walgreens, Rite Aids, Vons, Walmart, more. Then take that money that you saved with GoodRx and put it towards filling your tank, your shopping cart, or anything else that's gotten more expensive. I use GoodRx personally in my household. It ends up saving us so much money on prescriptions because, you really don't want to spend that money. It's like, I have to give you $80 just so I don't get a headache or a migraine today. That's not cool. And instead, I would like to spend that at a coffee shop. And now I'm able to do so thanks to GoodRx. So for simple, smart savings on your prescriptions, check GoodRx. Go to goodrx.com/morbid. That is goodrx.com/morbid, goodrx.com/morbid. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used in place of insurance, Medicare, and Medicaid. In 2021, GoodRx users saved 81% on retail prescription prices.
it would make sense that maybe she could absolutely have gone and lived off with another person.
Yeah.
Who knows?
And she had already lived like a fancy life, and I think she probably knew that she could go back to it if she wanted to.
Yeah.
So she tried out being penniless for a minute and still liked to wear her clothes that she had in her trunk with her name scratched
wild.
off. It is.
The fact that you just like don't know. You don't know.
It's
Where
crazy.
the fuck is she?
But they do know, but they don't
Somebody
know.
knows.
They
A
know,
lot
but
of
they
people
don't.
know.
Well, and then that whole thing about the driver, too, is super weird. And they were never able to track down the driver?
They were never able to like track that whole thing down or verify it.
Weird.
And it's like, what the fuck? And a lot of people wanted money out of this, so it's like you can't trust anyone.
I know. That's
all the
the
motives are
frustrating thing.
super dirty. And it's like on every level, this is just corrupted on every level.
For me, I just think the Oklahoma one is the strongest. And just the fact that he was like, wasn't your last name Arnold? And she was like, never mind what my name was. This is what it is
Yeah,
now.
like now I am this.
Right.
And it's like, maybe she just started a new identity.
I don't think she wanted that name either.
Maybe not.
And like, I do wonder if maybe part of her like getting rejected as a writer kind of thing, like she was thinking maybe she got rejected because of her name.
Yeah, so maybe she was like, I'm just going to start anew.
Yeah.
And maybe there's a book written by Dorothy Arnold under a totally different alias. Wouldn't that be fucking wild?
That'd be insane.
Oh, man.
Damn, I don't know. I just, for some reason, I don't think she was killed. I don't feel that way.
That one never was the strongest
I'm
not
saying it's not possible.
It's
like,
possible,
of
of course. But it definitely, to me, none of the pieces add up for anything perfectly.
No.
But it just feels like she dipped.
Yeah, I really think so.
But I'd love to know what the fuck happened.
It's funny, though.
I'd love to know.
I think you kind of changed your opinion a little bit in part 2. Because in the beginning, you were like, no, I don't think she would have done that to her family.
Yeah.
Because I do think she cared about her family, but I think she was just done with them.
That's the thing. Well, it's like the more you read about it, because in the beginning, and it's like when you read like like the periphery sources.
Yep.
It does feel like and I do believe that she had some kind of like sense of duty to her family to like try to maintain that society girl image. But I think the more I read about her and the more things that came out in like little snippets here and there, I was like, I don't know. I think she wanted to. I think some part of her really wanted to please them and really wanted to be that girl that they wanted her to be.
Yeah.
But I just don't think she wanted to be that.
Hey, I mean, even Lorelai Gilmore didn't tell anybody she was going to Stars Hollow. I love that. It's the truth. She dipped.
She didn't want to be that girl
She didn't.
that they wanted her to be.
Literally.
Yeah, it's exactly that.
It is.
But, all the police will say is that they said the case was solved and it's no longer a missing person case.
And that's the other thing that's like, if she was killed and they were like, yeah, she was killed,
It would be labeled a homicide.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think they might have found her. And I think the family was like, you better not fucking say that you found her, because we don't need people knowing that our family doesn't want to be our family.
Or they found some kind of evidence to know for sure that she dipped.
Right.
And not necessarily like found her. But like just something that said this is exactly what happened. Even if she they have a letter or something from her that's like, this is what I did.
See, the other thing that makes me feel like they found her is that he made it a point to be like, I am not leaving anything in my will to her because I think she's dead.
Yeah.
Like he made it a point.
A dead to me kind of thing.
Right.
It's absolutely could be it.
Yeah. It's interesting. But what
I'll
about
be
the
interested
mother's
to hear you
will?
guys. She also put a provision in there that nothing is left to her.
Huh.
So that's
interesting that the mother wouldn't leave anything to her, even though she believed she was alive somewhere.
I know.
Because I mean, I don't have children, obviously, but if I did and one went missing and I didn't have any concrete evidence that they were killed, I would leave them something.
Yeah. Or at least some kind of provision that says, like, if she's found,
she gets A, B, C, and D.
Yeah.
He or she.
But I don't know. But I did find one last little, like, just, this has no bearing on the case whatsoever, but I just found this interesting piece of information while I was searching for that, like, through that ship manifest and shit.
Yeah.
I was just trying to, like, find shit out about George Griscom, because I was like, can I find any, like, shady thing? I couldn't. There's really no shady things about him that I could find. But I did find his father's death certificate, and his dad died at age 75 by a cerebral hemorrhage in Rhode Island, which I was like, ooh, rough. But his mother's name, so Junior's grandmother's name, is Mercy Brown.
Oh, shit.
And he died in Rhode Island. Mercy Brown, if you guys remember, we did that like New England vampire episode.
Yeah.
She's like, you know, one of those cases where they thought she was a vampire, so they like removed organs after she died. She died at like 19. She didn't have kids that I could find any record of. But it was just a really strange, when I saw that name, I know it's like Mercy was a very like, I think that was like a pretty common name back then.
And Brown is like a super common last name.
But to see Mercy Brown from Rhode Island, I was like, whoa, that's weird. It was just a weird connection. I was like, whoa. And I had to quickly look back just to make sure that she was 19 and she didn't have kids. Because I was like, that would be wild.
That would have been insane if those two cases were
I would have
linked.
exploded.
I think everyone would have.
Yeah, I would have just gone through the actual wall. But I'm telling you, nothing is more fun than looking through old records for me.
Honestly.
I can't
You
stop.
came up with some good shit, dude.
And that is the case that unfortunately we don't have real answers for. We pretty much do, I feel.
I feel as
But the
though I
police
do.
seem like they do. And I feel like everyone knows, but no one knows.
Nobody knows.
I know. And I also tried to find out if John Griscom Jr. got married, and I couldn't find any marriage certificates for him. I'm sure he did, but not in New York.
Junior.
So that is the crazy case of the disappearance of Dorothy Arnold.
It is indeed. That was a crazy, wild
chase.
ride. Yeah.
I know.
I was going to say ghoulish ride, but it really wasn't.
It like felt ghoulish at
did.
times.
Yeah, it did.
Most times.
And then my brain got stuck on ghoulish and just kept saying it over and over again. And I was like, what's another adjective?
Ghoulish.
And then my brain was like, say it.
Say ghoulish.
Say it. You won't.
You want to.
But what I will say is that we hope you keep listening.
And we hope you
keep
it weird.
I kind of want you to keep it so weird that like you just disappear one day and nobody knows where you went, but actually you're just having a great time somewhere.
Start a great life where your husband is like, what's your maiden name again? Do that.
Keep it that weird, motherfucker.
You make everyone sweat around you. Do it.
I kind of want you to keep it as weird as Dorothy as long as she's all right.
Waking up exhausted, foggy, and running on empty? For me, one of the missing pieces was magnesium support. That's why I added Magnesium Breakthrough Bye Optimizers to my nightly routine. It's a powerful all-in-one magnesium complex with 7 forms of magnesium designed to support relaxation, sleep, stress response, and recovery. If you're ready to feel more rested and have a great summer, go to byoptimizers.com/hags and use code HAGS for 15% off any order.
I like things my way. My coffee, my schedule, and my treatment. So I talked to my doctor about self-injecting with the Vyvgart Hytrulo pre-filled syringe, which contains efgartigimod alpha and hyaluronidase QVFC. It's injected under your skin, subcutaneously. It means I can inject in my space, on my time. It's my treatment, my way. Visit VyvgartMyWay.com. That's VYVGART myway.com. And talk to your doctor about Vyvgart Hytrulo. Brought to you by argenx.